Hey, Tech After Five. Family? Are we a family? I don't know. We're in this together, aren't we? You know what? We got something cool coming up, and I want you to know about it. And of course, this is particularly for our folks that can get in and around upstate South Carolina, because we have a cool event coming up. And it's just a natural fit for our audience. So I thought we'd talk about it. This coming event, of course, is the Carolina Codes Conference. But there's really no point in me telling you about it when I've got the guy who's behind it all with me. So let's grab him here. Hey, it's Barry Jones. Hey, Barry.
Hi, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Well, no, man, it is my pleasure. I'm really excited about what you're doing. And by the way, this thing is the Carolina Code Conference. And I stuck the link up here on the page for those folks who'd like to want to see that and go find out on the website and so forth. But let's cover the particulars. What is going on? There used to be a thing called Carolina Code Conference, and I think you're bringing back all the goodness that was. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. We're rebooting the conference this year. The first ones happened in 2018 and 2019. A guy by the name of Joel Tadai started them and ran, and it shut down like everything else did for COVID. It just hasn't been a lot of momentum. He just took a great new job and doesn't really have a lot of time to get this thing going again, and was looking to see if anybody else wanted to take it over. So I got to speak at both the first two conferences and had a great time there. Figured I'd give it a shot.
So to talk, I mean, you were there, right? Like I might have been at one of these, but in this thing, what did you see? You fell in love with the Carolina Code Conference. I mean, so much in love that you're willing to go do it again. What did you see there? What happened there? What's going to happen at this one?
Well, one of the great things that happened is we have a wonderful tech community here in Greenville and in and around this area as well. When we pull in from Asheville and Tennessee and North Carolina and Georgia and even other parts of the state like Columbia and the lower parts of the state too. But one of the things that always kind of bothered me was there's not really a great place for that community to be amplified, for people to come in and really share with a broader audience the type of interesting things that they're doing and they're working on. And the Carolina Code Conference provided that. I mean, at the very first conference, there was a guy that was there who was pulling people out of the audience and setting them up with a piece of headgear so that they could levitate a ball on a screen with their mind. It was amazing. And there's all sorts of interesting things that happen. But getting that community to come together and sort of the energy that you feel behind everybody wanting to see what everyone else is doing is big. And
it's like show and tell for nerds. I'm just going to say
that's exactly what it is. That's a great way.
And don't forget, I mean, I know that you know this, but for anyone else doesn't know it. When we see nerds, we mean this in the nicest way possible.
Oh, yeah.
We love this community. We love having people showing up what they're doing. And I think your thinking about this is absolutely right, is that there is a lot of people doing really cool stuff and nobody knows about it because they don't naturally bring an audience together. So I feel like kind of what you're doing with this Carolina Code Conference, what has been done in the past, is to get these people together and say, hey, man, let's just come together and kind of share what we're up to. And it doesn't have to be, super commercially successful or anything like that. Let's just talk about what we're working on without trying to sell it to everybody. Let's just explain it.
Exactly. And so it's going to create a platform for the speakers to really be amplified. We're going to have a great videographer crew. It's going to be in there doing a professional job of recording all these talks so we can put them up on YouTube afterwards and share them with people as well. And that should help our sponsors as well. Because of the first conference happened, in 2018, 2019, the only photos that I've got are from the 2018 conference. And so everything we do with this year is going to be prepared to set up the future of the conference with photos and video and marketing materials and everything else. And so we're hoping to set up for a really big 2024. And, the 2023 conference this year is really just capitalizing on a lot of energy. We didn't even know if we were going to do the conference this year when I took it over because I didn't know if we were going to have enough lead time, but many people poured so much energy and interest into it. It seemed like we had to. And the interest and energy around this thing has been phenomenal. So I've got people coming out of the woodwork, helping me, connecting me with potential sponsors, people like yourself who are excited about it and definitely see the potential. It's really been a lot of fun to see this whole community come together. Everyone clearly wants this thing to happen.
I think so. And all it needed was a champion. That's you. So that's a great place to start. Let's talk about who shows up. So what kind of I know one of the things you've got going on at the moment, maybe this will help explain this for people, is you're looking for presenters at the moment. Now I know this, like we're pretty close to the end of that. I don't know, you may end up extending it for all I know, but you are
Hard
looking,
cutoff.
what's that? It's a hard cutoff.
Hard cutoff on the 25th.
Oh, really? Oh, you think, okay, well, let's talk about what you're looking for and what are you seeing so far that's exciting for you?
Sure. So the nice thing about this conference is that a lot of programming conferences are organized around a specific language. This is a polyglot conference, or basically a multi-language code conference. And so any topic that a speaker has that is even remotely around the software community works, whether we're talking about things that are interesting about a particular language, particular way of doing programming, or testing or reviewing or managing a team, or dealing with coordination of team members and product members. Anything fits. And so when we first opened up the call for speakers, doing this conference at all, I didn't know if we were going to get enough talks to run the conference in the first place. 3 days in, I had enough talks to run the entire conference, and it would have been wonderful. Now I've got so many talks to choose from that are fantastic that just narrowing them down is something I'm not looking forward to.
Sure.
So we're going to have a great conference at this point.
That's a great problem to have. All right. So what kinds of so it sounds, one of the things I'm hearing you say is, and I say this because Tech After 5 is broadly technical, right? We're all around all kinds of IT people. This is focused really on the development side of this, right? So people who are coding and developing, or writing code, editing, all in that space. This is for people who are on the code / development side of this. That's who we expect to see at this. That's who will be presenting at this.
Exactly. And that's, primarily that's definitely the audience that I expect to see and to have presenting. There will be some representation of product, the people that are helping design requirements, hand them off to development and whatnot as well, just because it all falls into the same software process. There's an entire, the software development lifecycle, if you will. Anybody who's on that tree from requirements gathering all the way to delivery and operations and deployment, it's all fair game. And the more we see programmers working today, they're having to be involved with a lot more. We used to hear people specializing in a single language. Now you hear full stack developer a lot more. Then we had DevOps, where the devs were getting involved in the operation side. Then we had DevSecOps, where the developers were getting into the security side of the operation side as well, and kind of building automated security checks on their pipeline. And a lot of the modern agile processes as well they're really focused on looking at the entire company as a system in and of itself and how all the people work together. And I think it's important to emphasize that. And we really want to emphasize that entire spectrum of point to point as we go through this. We don't want to isolate any one thing.
Sure.
Because the last thing you want is the not my job situation. Because the more people are aware, the more help.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I just want to make sure people understood who is in. I'm going to guess that one of the topics that's got to come up this year is AI in a way that we've not seen it show up before, right? It is, if it's not front and center, it's nipping at everybody's heels, just to make before he's up here. But it is in everything that we see going on. And certainly somebody will be talking about the tools and how they're using it, how it's part of that development process now. So
absolutely.
I just can't, you just couldn't get together and not address the elephant in the room that's there right now. Okay. So we know this is for and by developers. Let's talk about the particulars, the when, the where, the how do I sign up kind of stuff. So I know this is, let's see, the date is August 19th. I'll pull the website up while we're here talking too. Maybe folks can take a look at that. I know it's a lot to see on there, but so it's the conference is on August 19th. And I know that it is in beautiful downtown Greenville, South Carolina at the One Building.
Yes, it is.
Swanky. That's a beautiful spot. I've done multiple things there myself. I love that space.
I do too. I fell in love with the moment that I saw it. And it's a great venue. It's a great setup for the speakers and the audience. And it's a great setup for kind of a mixing of the sponsors with the audience as well, without keeping them too far separated out in the room, kind of haul off to the side. And then it's a very photogenic venue too. As I mentioned, as we're going into this, we've got to get everything that we need to be able to market for next year. And so everything that goes into this year's conference, you're going to be hearing a lot about it over the course of the next year as we promote for 2024 as well. And so we're going to have great photography there, great videography there, and hopefully a lot of good times and good memories to make people that give people that energy where they can't wait to come back next year.
I think that's going to be, like I said, great space, great time. So I know, and we got the website up in here as well, but it's Carolina Codes, or you haven't started ticket sales yet, but that's tickets. And when we say sales, that's probably not even the right word, because the way I understand this, there's not going to be much of a charge to show up for this thing.
Correct. So the first two Carolina Code conferences were free. And when we started the conference this year, it seemed like it would be in bad taste to change that. And so we're sticking with free this year as well. I have had a lot of people warn me about potential for no-shows if we do free tickets. So what we're going to be doing is a free tickets, but with a phased rollout. And the phased rollout, you come on the site, subscribe to our mailing list, you'll find out all about it. And we'll be putting out information about the tickets shortly after we announce the speakers. I didn't want to put out anything about the tickets until then. The speakers themselves will be announced on June 1st, and then we'll get ticket information out after that. And so there will be a phased rollout where there's a certain block for tickets for sponsors. Speakers are going to get a certain amount of tickets to bring a guest as well. We'll be trying to directly involve the local meetup groups if we can to pull them in as well. And then we're also going to have a community sponsor option where it's not a charge for a ticket, but if you do decide to donate because you just want to help the conference to move forward, if you want to help bring this to the area, you'll get early access to tickets and basically VIP access to tickets ahead of the general. Because there's only going to be about 150 tickets this year. Next year will be larger, but this year that's what we're limited to with the venue size that we've got. Yeah.
So there's only going to be 150 tickets, but there's kind of all this phased rollout. Well, people will figure this out as they go along.
Yeah.
But if they can figure this out best by getting themselves on the Carolina Codes website and signing up for that, getting the newsletters, announcements, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So
everything is going through those newsletters.
Yeah. Right. So again, I'm just going to put this up so people can see it. The Carolina Code Conference, the website is carolina.codes. And we got Barry Jones here to kind of talk about this thing, but you need to go. This is your kind of thing. If you're a developer trying to figure out if you want to be around other developers, if you want to figure out what's going on in the local meetup scene and other groups and things around town, including, us, the cats from Tech After 5, who you're trying to help build this campfire and fan the flames of this particular campfire. Why don't you join us at the Carolina Code Conference? And thank you, Barry Jones, for helping us figure this out and explain it to the audience.
Thanks a lot, Phil.